Hello and welcome, friends, to another Pick a Card reading. In today's reading, we are taking a look at what you are harvesting. What is coming in for you? What have you been working towards? It is officially fall. It is the harvest season. What's coming in for you? That's what we're taking a look at. I have prepared 3 groups with some rings and because you know, full circle moment, but also I was trying to find a way to display the rings so that they were standing up, and look at creative genius. Please don't ask me how old these hot sauce packets are, but they are non-sponsored Taco Bell hot sauce packets. And you know how Taco Bell has like little sentences on different packets? Well, there you go. That's going to be your first message. It's a little chaotic, but this reading in general I feel like is going to be a little bit chaotic because look at the color combinations. Nothing matches. Nothing is cohesive here. I love it. I love it. Okay, let me show you what we got. So for group 1, this is your ring. This is a lovely gold ring with an emerald, a solitaire emerald. I don't know actual like the legitimate names, but you know how it goes here. And this is your color card. It is Fresh Hyacinth, Rosalind's Periwinkle Blue, Blue Phlox. We have gotten this one before in other readings. Beautiful colors. This is group 1. Again, we are taking a look at what's coming in for you. What are you harvesting? Group 2. Look at this cluster of garnet. This one is a silver ring. Beautiful, look at that. Look at that. And then your color card is Wild Honey. Maybe we could focus on it. Just maybe. Here we go. Wild Honey, Flaxen Hair, King's Ransom Gold. That is for group 2, Garnet and Wild Honey. And then group 3, this is your ring. That is a pretty, it's kind of dark, but it is a sapphire with a gold band. And then this is your color card for group 3, True Turquoise, Sausalito Sky, Pacific Coast Blue. Very refreshing blues there with that deep sapphire blue. Okay, now we are taking a peek at what you are about to harvest this fall. It's going to be a very open reading. We're open to lots of blessings, lots of abundance. Abundance and blessings do come in many shapes, all right? So we're going to be very open to that. I'm going to give you a moment to zone in or zone out, whichever you need to find the group that is most calling you. Timestamps will be in the description below, and I will meet you at your reading. Hi group 1, this is your reading if you chose the emerald ring and the fresh hyacinth purples, periwinkles, lavenders. Let's set these off to the side. Take a look at your hot sauce packets. Very exciting. It says this one's on me, and it is a fire hot sauce. This one's on me. Ooh, I like that. Immediately I'm getting the vibe of being treated by the universe or by a particular person. Let's see. Oh, cards speak. I'm gonna use my Pulp Tarot deck. For group one, what are they harvesting this fall? What is coming in for group one? The way that we're going to do this is we're going to pull 2 rows, and the bottom row will kind of show us the why, the seeds that you've planted, and then the top row will be the crop. Okay. For group one, what is group one harvesting? What blessings, what abundance, what insight, what perspective, what understanding, what is coming in for group one? What is coming full circle for group one? What is coming full circle for group one? Yes, we love to see it. We have the High Priestess. So we have the Justice card and the High Priestess. Was that the Sun? Oh my goodness. Look at that. Okay. And get one more, and then we're going to get the bottom row, and then we're going to kind of piece it together as a whole. We got the Knight of Cups. Temperance. Ooh, you held back in the past. Absolutely. Let me just get these all out, and then I will kind of get into it. Okay, this King of Wands is in an interesting position. I'm feeling a little goofy today. Okay, what does this Knight of Cups have their eyes on? On the Magician. Okay, so here's what you're harvesting. You are harvesting exactly like I said. They cannot deny the truth of the hot sauce packet. This one's on me. Is very much this vibe of getting what you are owed. Your harvest is about getting attention, recognition, and emotional respect is somehow the way that this is coming out. There's an aspect here of you overcoming some kind of pride within yourself to be able to, you're recognizing a lot. You're recognizing that there is a necessity for you to give up certain prideful expectations in order for you to manifest the emotional fulfillment that you want. And because you are really kind of opening yourself up to what is necessary in order for you to achieve what it is that you want, you're letting go of a lot of things that are very defensive and that really came from a lack mindset. And so through that release, there's a strong ego death taking place down here. With this Temperance card underneath the Justice, there is something where you maybe had every right to make a stink or make a fuss about something, but you held back. And you held back, and because you held back, it's not that you had to prove your temperance to anyone, not even the universe, but because you held back, it's almost like, this imagery has been coming through a lot in readings lately. The tide is shifting, and you know how water will pull back before it the tide comes back in, and then it just is like so overwhelming. This energy of you holding back, instead of demanding something, you were just very steadfast in your knowledge of, I'm just gonna wait and let this play out. Instead of making, like, I'm getting almost this imagery of, listen, I used to work in customer service. for a long time. And right now I'm getting this imagery of, you can have a customer, let's say you have two customers and they both have the same issue, and you're dealing with them at different times, right? But they somehow have the same issue. And one customer is so angry and pissed off, and it's because they have every right to be pissed off because they're dealing with an issue that they shouldn't have to be dealing with. But the vitriol that they spew at the customer service person, who is, it's not their fault at all. They're trying to help you. Same happens with the universe. The universe is like, hey, I'm trying to arrange shit. I didn't cause this. I'm trying to arrange stuff for you. But there is this vitriol that angry person has. And then there's this other customer who is like frustrated, of course, because the situation, the issue is frustrating. But they understand, you know what, the customer service person in front of me isn't responsible for this. They're trying to help me. I'm just going to try and keep my temper down as much as I can. I'm going to engage the control that I have over my faculties and just wait for things to start making sense again. And that is something that I see you having employed. Like, you were that rational customer. You were not the angry, demanding customer. You were the rational, patient customer. And that may have been a new approach for you, may not have been. But in either case, the way that you handled a certain situation caused an ego death for you. And that ego death took along with it a lot of pride. And a lot of pride in, oh, I have to appear a certain way, I have to do things this way, or I have to, like, just a lot of ideas around what something has to look like. I'm sorry if this is coming across a little bit abstract, but it's because this is going to apply very differently for different people. Like, for some of you, this has to do with career, where you didn't rock the boat on an issue around your career, and your expectations shifted, and because your expectations shifted, you're actually open to finding some sort of expansion within your career. Others of you, this has to do with love, where you weren't receiving what you know you deserve, but you kind of just pulled back your energy and had this ego death of, like, I can't always have it my way, and I cannot control other people, and other people cannot control me, so that means I have to accept where my power lies in choosing what to engage with. So you see how it's kind of like similar, it's the same theme, right? But it applies differently depending on which area of your life this situation is developing in. But the fact that it says, this one's on me, I just looked over and was like, wait, this one's on me actually feels more so of, now that I've made sense of this, it feels more so like it's connecting of, like, oh, okay, this one's on me. I should have seen that coming. But I think you're handling something with as much grace as you possibly can. And because of that, trust me, you're calling in a lot more positive attention, because you're letting go of a lot of pride. You're letting go of really kind of a lot of your defensive pride that kept you stagnant. And that's why there's this emotional expansion that is taking place. All right, let's roll some dice. I don't want to get lost in this. This is very interesting, though. It's very interesting because, of course, you've planted these seeds. You've done a lot of consideration. And honestly, you probably were forced. This wasn't just all you being extremely composed and reclusive and trying to figure out, oh, what do I need to change about myself in order to be able to expand in a way where I feel empowered moving forward. This was a lot of situations that forced you to recognize, hey, the choices that you've been making previously were impulsive. They were impulsive, and they came from a place of lack-mindedness, and they came from a place of I honestly, I want to say desperation, but I know that sounds really, that echoes really harshly. But I mean more so desperation of, in the way that it was reactionary, right? And what you have done is taken a look at this behavior, and you take a look back and you're like, oh, I don't like the taste of that. I don't like the aftertaste of this behavior that I've exhibited. So I'm going to focus on how can I be more positive instead of prideful? How can I trust my intuition more to respond to situations instead of reacting in a very extreme way? How can I trust that things are going to play out the way that they are supposed to play out, versus me trying to get control over a situation that literally is not controllable by me? But then you recognize what you do have control over, and that's where you feel more empowered moving forward towards expansion. This is very interesting to me. I hope it makes sense to you, because it's very, this feels very internal so far, but I do think that this is going to lead to beautiful things, because we have the Sun card and we have the Knight of Cups. It's going to lead to a more positive outlook in engaging with things that are emotionally expansive to you. And you're doing that because of some wisdom that you have gained through going through something that had to end with this Death card, right? That doesn't have to be an ego death, but that's the way it was kind of coming through because of this prideful energy here. But it could also be just it could have been a situation where you're like, I knew the whole time. It was like, I'm seeing tracks. I'm seeing like a roller coaster on tracks. And the whole time you're like, I can see where this is going. But you weren't acting. You weren't doing anything about it. You're like, this is going downhill. This is going downhill. This is going downhill. But you were too prideful to pull out of something. So whether that was a relationship or whether that was a work environment, where the whole time you were almost like waiting for someone else to step in and not necessarily save you, but be like, hey, everybody, take a look around. The situation is not balanced. The situation doesn't make sense. To have kind of like a referee come in to be like, hey, but you're recognizing through this experience, like, I saw it the whole time. Why did I not act? Why did I not change the course? Why did I not get out of that ride? So that's why I feel like this one's on me is coming in. Interesting. Okay. Also the fact that it says fire, and then this one's on me, and then we have this King of Wands standing in front of this burning building, and he's in reverse. Yeah, that looks like we're looking back at the past being like, oof, ouch, this one's on me. But I still feel strongly, because we are asking about like, what are you harvesting? I still feel strongly that we're headed in a positive direction. So I do think this one's on me is like, something is going to balance out, and something is going to eventually, you're going to be treated to something in a positive way. All right, we have the 12th house. Yes, we have Jupiter and we have Aries. This is you making some having some deep revelations about what drives you. I just heard what drives you mad. Kind of, yeah, because I do feel like it has a lot to do with anger, with the fire here, the King of Wands in the reverse. I do feel like this has a lot, the fact that we have the Temperance card and the Justice, this is about balancing out. So this could have to do with like the kind of anger that you feel towards a specific person or situation. So you're really kind of turning away. You're turning a page on some kind of situation that was very infuriating, and you're getting some distance from that. That's what this expansion is, right? The 12th house is the house of the things unseen, the things that we don't always want to deal with. It is our mental health. It is the attic of our chart. It is just like, I don't want to deal with it, put it in the 12th house. Jupiter is learning through experience, and Aries is a very self-motivated. Aries is very much the magician energy. It's a very self-motivated energy to kind of figure this out and to get through this experience like fully, to be like, okay, I just want to be done with it. Let's just work this out and figure it out. So that's why this whole reading for group 1, what you are harvesting is really, I think that you are letting go of an old pattern. I think that you are letting, this ego death is very, very strong within you. You are letting go of things that used to upset you. You are moving towards being more positive and focusing more on your emotional well-being. All right, let's get you some oracle cards. Let's get you an aspect. This is going to be, this is an archetype card. This is going to be an aspect that you should embrace when, sorry, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to know. This is going to be an aspect that you should embrace in order to have your harvest come in more smoothly. That's what we want. We want an easy harvest, right? And we don't want to have, it looks like you've done a lot of work already. It seems like this summer was probably a lot of, if not shadow work, then it was just you having to deal with situations where you were faced with your own choices and your own reactions to things. And we have healer. So this is an energy, an aspect for you to embrace in order to move through this energy more efficiently. And healer says passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. And specifically for you, I think pain also comes along with anger. Anger is a very strong byproduct of pain, right? When we experience pain, anger usually follows suit quite quickly because we become really enraged and want to protect ourselves and create space between the cause of the pain and ourselves, right? We want to create that space so that we can begin the healing. So focusing less on who did what and why and where, and who did what specifically, not just who did what to you, but what did you do to others? Like there's also this energy of feeling a little bit shameful of the way that you've reacted over things. And that's where we're like, we really need to create some distance. We really need to let the waters settle. So I'm not telling you to ghost anyone, you know, make it clear if you need space from a certain situation or person in your life. Say, hey, this one's on me. I don't like the way that I've been reacting. I don't like the way that this is falling out at this time. I need some space. Be clear on your boundaries. I need some space to kind of let healing take place. But you are going to embark on a really soothing healing journey with the Sun card. You're bringing more attention to the things that you need in order to feel emotionally stable. This is like you're coming like out of the depths of a really dark place towards the sun, but then the sun is kind of blinding, and it's like, okay, I need to understand where I'm at, and in order to understand that, I need to kind of walk around and figure out what is this emotional landscape that I'm on right now. This landscape where I do allow myself the benefit of the doubt. I do allow myself to heal. I do allow myself to be imperfect in the way that I deal with my emotions, right? I allow myself to feel things, and I allow myself grace for the times that I have been reactionary instead of taking things, like I allow myself grace for the things that I wasn't aware of previously. Your awareness is changing. That's what your harvest is all about. Your emotional awareness is changing. So the abundance that that brings in is going to be so long standing. We're not just talking about this fall, about like one thing, one situation that's going to come in. This is going to change the way that you engage in emotional connections and emotional, really in your everyday life. Because when you change how you respond to things, it changes how everything like falls into place for you. So this has a lot to do with healing some source of anger. Look at the way that we have this red fire, red, there's here, these two. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. This woman is wearing a red shirt. There's a lot of red, and it's indicating like anger to me, right? It's reading as anger to me right now. But look at how we have this guy who is like braving out into the world, and his cape is red underneath, meaning he's taking that anger with him, right? It's not just to shame yourself and be like, no, I have to not be angry. I have to not. Same thing with temperance, right? We have this red, passionate color. Here it's almost kind of orange, but more so red because this guy is orange on this side. And it's about transmuting anger. We transmute pain into anger quite easily, and then it's kind of like, okay, we're ready for the next step. You at some point in time have transmuted pain into anger, and now is the time where you transmute that anger into energy to push you forward. That's why we have this Magician card, because you're taking back some kind of control of the direction, right? We're getting off the tracks. Ooh, this is transformative. This is very transformative. You have been transmuting so much of your own energy. Again, I feel like this is very internal, but for some of you that came through as creating situations in your everyday life that force you to look at how you typically react to things. Now, is this as exciting as, oh, you're going to win the lotto and then you're going to be rich for the rest of your life? Maybe not, but again, I cannot stress enough how valuable this changes, because it's going to affect the way that you react. As long as you make an effort to bring awareness into the way that you emotionally respond to things, this is something that is going to be invaluable. Like this is going to help you really heal some very tender part of you. Let's get some blind spots, something to be aware of throughout this process. Something that this is going to address throughout this process. For group 1, which one is it? This one. We have radical self-love. We can only receive love to the extent that we unconditionally love and live the truth of ourselves, right? Absolutely agree with that. And then we have perspective at the bottom of the deck. That's exactly it. We're changing the perspective on how we respond. A calm and clear mind is free to see differently. We need to create some space here. You know what I'm getting? And I really don't mean to sound condescending in any way, so please don't take it that way. But right now I saw an imagery of like a little cat, but like a wild cat, like not necessarily like a house cat. And it was very defensive. And if you take a wild cat into an environment that it's not supposed to be in, meaning you can't take a wild cat and make it your pet, but some people do that, right? And then I'm just seeing this imagery of this cat being like super aggressive because it's super defensive, because it's an environment that it does not belong in. And that same cat could be completely a entire different being attitude-wise if it was in an environment that was safe and respectful of its nature. And that's what I'm getting here, that there are stressors that you experience that were not really respectful of your nature, but then those stressors highlighted in which ways where you have the responsibility to make sure that you are respecting your own nature and that you are accommodating for certain needs that you have so that you can take better care of yourself, so that you don't feel like you have to look back at situations and be like, oh my God, I got so triggered. But you can move through situations moving forward in a way where you're like, oh, that's about to trigger me. Let me take a second. Let me assess how to deal with this. And then I can move through this with full awareness. So you're getting a lot more control. That's what you're harvesting. And I really feel like the seeds were a lot of stressful situations. So let me tell you, because again, we are asking, what are you harvesting this fall? What's coming in for you? I think this is the turning point. This is the turning point, right? We're done with these really, really stressful situations, and you're going to be treating yourself with a lot more grace and a lot more compassion. And that's going to allow you to bring a lot more grace and compassion into all of your relationships. I did not expect this reading to get so deep, but I'm loving it. I really am. I also didn't expect it to go this long, but you know me, I love talking. Okay. What blessings are coming in for group 1? Let's talk about blessings. Actually, I think I want to pull some extra tarot cards on what are just the blessings. The veil. Yeah, see, this is the blessing. Look at the colors. Look at these colors all aligning. The blessing, yeah. The blessing that is coming in for you, okay, I still kind of want to pull some tarot cards, but the blessing that is coming in for you, that you're becoming more self-aware, and that allows you to move with more self-determination, with more self-awareness. As you move with more self-awareness, you also become a much more powerful manifester. That's why we have this Magician card at the bottom of the deck. What is underneath that? Yes, you're becoming so much more self-aware, and that's really going to put you in a place to be more self-compassionate and more self-loving towards your entire self. I said that earlier in the beginning, right? Like loving your entire self. Oh, I love this. I love this because I do feel like you're a little feisty. That's why we got the fire card, or the fire sauce. I do think you're a little feisty, but that, and people may have made you believe that that's a bad thing, but it's not, as long as you transmute it, as long as you use your passion in a way that's productive. Okay. All right, let's get a sneak peek for group 1. What are some of the blessings that group 1 can expect from this very intense transmutation, you know what I meant, transformation. Let's do that one. What can group one expect for in terms of blessings? Yeah, knowledge. We have the Page of Swords, a better understanding of who you are. So let's get some more. Come on, don't be shy. We have the Seven of Swords, which is even more knowledge about yourself. You're going to create that distance, right? The Seven of Swords is about this person that kind of gets what they can from a situation and they move away from it, which is why it gets such a bad rep, because it's kind of like, oh, that's like trickery, because this guy is really just taking more than he needs and moving away from something. So I do see you moving away from either a job or a friendship group where you're like, you know what, I've gained all I had to gain here and I'm moving on, and that's okay. The Justice card wanted to come out again. I saw it. Give me one more. What blessings are coming in for group one? A lot of self-knowledge. Look at that. We have the Lover's card. A lot of self-knowledge, and that self-knowledge allows you to move differently moving forward. And that self-knowledge also allows you to show up more authentically in all of your connections. The Lover's card is not just about connecting with one person in particular. It's about showing up authentically and in an aligned way. So yeah, that's what's coming in for you. Those are your blessings that are coming in, is that you're really going to have a much better understanding of how you show up in relationships. That's going to bring more empowerment in your choices, which is then going to create some distance between you and past choices. And that distance is really going to allow for healing and grace to take place. And then that's going to allow you to really embrace yourself in a more loving way, which then allows for more aligned, authentic connections to come in. Okay. Let's get one last oracle card. Can you hear me? We're going to read this one from the booklet. This is calling in. This is all about you calling in something that is much more aligned. It says, can you hear me? Loneliness, cry for help, communication. A woman floats in a seashell on the big sea. She looks to the horizon as if she is waiting for somebody. She is holding a trumpet in her hand, ready to blow it when the time comes. The ocean symbolizes her feelings, vast and seemingly unknowable. It surrounds her in an endless arc. She looks lonely and deserted, but she has a way of connecting, a tool for turning passive silence into supportive communication. She just needs to raise her trumpet and call for help. Passive silence. See, this is where in the past we were a bit reactionary, and it felt like we're in this ocean of emotions where it's like, I can't control the way this ocean moves, but you're learning how to. You're learning more about your emotional state, and in order to show up in a more empowered way and in a way that allows you to connect on a more authentic and deeper level. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just keeps coming up that way because, like the booklet said, she has a way of connecting with people. She just has to make the choice to do so. And so that's what a lot of this reading is. It's illuminating where your choices in the past, like in the past, you may have avoided really taking accountability or really recognizing where you had the power of choice, because that would go hand in hand with having to take accountability for the choices that you made. And you're not doing that anymore. You're not avoiding that anymore. You have been taking accountability for the choices that you've made. And so moving forward, you're taking accountability within the moment as you are making the choices, which will lead you to make more empowered choices and more active choices versus you being a backseat driver in your own life. Ooh, I really enjoyed this reading. I hope that it resonated. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can do so. All of the links are below. The only way to book with me is through my website. I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that this finds the people it needs to find, because you've done a lot of work, and I'm very proud of you. If nobody else has taken the time to recognize that, I am here, I'm recognizing it. It's a lot of intense work that you have been doing and that you have been designing yourself to do. And so moving forward, you are designing a life that is much more connected emotionally. So it's going to be a whole different experience for you moving forward. So that is incredible. You've done a lot of very important work, and I'm very proud of you. I'm going to leave it there. I do hope I get to read it for you again sometime. Until then, take care. Hi Group 2, this is your reading if you chose the garnet ring with the wild honey. We're going to set this off to the side and let's take a look at your hot sauce. You got a mild. Okay. Oh, how cute. It says makes me happy. Makes me happy. We're going to set this up here, and then we're going to set your ring right next to it. I'm going to wait on predicting stuff with the hot sauce, because I did that in the last reading, and then it really took a turn where it's like, oh, that's what they meant. So I'm going to leave that for now and see how it fits in. But makes me happy is already a good sign, right? Okay, so for Group 2, the way this is going to go, we're going to have 2 rows. The bottom row is going to be the seeds that you planted, and then the top row is going to be the harvest, right? Because we're asking, what are you harvesting this fall? For Group 2, let's talk about it. I'm going to get all the cards out first. Beautiful. Love it already. We have the King of Wands. We have the Justice card. I love this. And the Three of Cups. Let's take a look at the seeds. Oh my God. We have so far 3 repeat cards from Group 1, but these 2 are in different positions. This one is in the same position, actually. Okay, confidence growing. I'm hearing there's that one song, I think it's called Energy. No, is it? Which one is it? No, I think it might be Pretty Girl Magic. I think that's the one. Confidence growing, glow up is loading. There's something that you were quite patient about, and you were, oh, let me wait. Let me get the other cards first, and then I'll focus on detangling this. Look at all these wands. This is, I can already tell, this is my entrepreneur group. Oh my goodness. You're just out here taking over the world, aren't you? And the Seven of Pentacles. That's so funny. The way that this is coming through is like, I want it, I got it. You have put in so much work. You know what? Yes, makes me happy. What is coming in for you is truly going to be about, well, what do I want? What do I want? So we have the Star card come out with the Temperance card. This is giving, This is giving like straight A student. You have shown a lot of patience in some regard. This is giving teacher's pet in some way. I don't know. I can't pinpoint why, but it is giving teacher's pet. Not in an annoying way, but more so in a way of like, you've really shown that you are engaged. You really have shown that you are invested, that you are willing to show up and do your part. Look at these seeds. The seeds that you have planted are patience. The seeds that you have planted are investment and involvement and confidence and just that extra trust that you have what it takes, that there's a spark, that there's something magical. This is all about desire. You are pursuing some kind, all of your seeds have a lot to do with a desire that is like undeniable. So there is this attitude that you've had of like, it's gonna happen one way or another. I don't have to, like, there is a lot of urgency, but there's not, it doesn't feel like urgency that is like demanding. You're not demanding, you are, if anything, you are actually inspired to find shortcuts. You are inspired to find ways to make things happen faster, but you know that it's going to happen one way or another. And you're just kind of like, you see it almost as a challenge of like, how can I make this you're so quick. You're so quick. You're quick-witted. You see patterns, you see shortcuts. You're very, very sharp mentally very sharp, and you get your way, but you're also not, aggressive about it. Even though we have all these wands, there's this energy of like, no, I don't go after just anything. I don't go after other people's stuff. I go after what I know I deserve. I go after just my territory. I don't know why it's coming through like that, but that's how it's feeling of like, no. I just know where my reign ends. And so I know how much to demand without being demanding. So the blessings that are coming in for you is that your status will be elevated. Yeah, you are, first of all, you're calling in new connections that are going to help you get to places that you currently don't have access to. Absolutely. You're going to make new friends. You're going to find new peers. You're going to find a new audience. You're calling in, with this Ace of Wands underneath this Three of Cups, you're calling in an audience or a group of support that is really going to help uplift you. And it's not that you need them, but it's just going to make it a smoother transition of you getting to where you want to go, which I think in your case is quite material because of the Seven of Pentacles. There's a lot of desire, I think, for material stability. And there's probably a lot of energy that you have invested up front, right? So it's like this knowledge of like, yeah, I'm working overtime, I'm working 24/7 right now, but I know it's going to pay off at some point. Now, if this isn't material in terms of money, then I could see this also taking place in terms of physically up-leveling. So putting in extra hours at the gym, or going for runs and really like longer walks, and just you turned up the intensity when it comes to what you were putting into a situation. You turned up the intensity, and that is going to show because you're developing from this Knight of Wands energy of like, I think I could do this. Let's just, I don't know, let's just try it. Let's just see what happens, to the King of Wands being like, look at what I just did. Look at what I created. Look at what I built. Look at what I am capable of. I know I'm even capable of even more. And with this Queen of Wands right here, this also indicates the fact that we have a pair here. indicates to me that you are working from a very holistic desire, right? Because this indicates that your masculine and your feminine energy are both involved in this desire equally, which means that there was, again, a strong period of patience, which is why the Queen of Wands is also a seedling here that then turns into justice, because it is this knowledge of like, no, I know I'm creating something that is substantial. And then the King of Wands is part of the harvest, because it's like, okay, see, now I have risen to what I knew I was capable of, but I had to employ this time, this has a lot to do with timing. There's something about timing. And with the Temperance card and the Queen of Wands being part of your seeds, there was this period of time where you were like, it's not ripe for the picking yet. And you're getting into this harvest time where it's quite literally whatever it is that you are working on or working towards is ripe for the picking. Ooh, this is exciting, to be honest. Let's roll some dice. And even just the star card here, the star card being the first card out, it just sets the tone for me to know that this is not you running wild off of your ego. This is not you being delusional. This is this feeling of like, no, I have earned this. And with the Justice card too, this is really about earning your keep, earning the attention and affection that you're receiving. And I say affection, but I do think that it's from a group of people. I don't feel like you are necessarily focused on one person. That's thinking too small for you. You are not caught up in like love things. And if you are here and that has been your main focus, we need to expand that, because look at all that's waiting for you as soon as you do expand that perspective, because this is not you focusing on one person and putting all your energy. You have so much freaking energy that is not, that one person cannot contain that. So yeah, I see you connecting with a whole group of people that are wanting to celebrate you, because they're just like in awe of your vigor is what came through. But there's something where you are also very, I'm hearing the word judgmental because of the Justice card and the Queen of Wands. It is like a bold, that's an energy of being very bold in your opinions. But when I say judgmental, I don't necessarily mean in a negative way. It's more so like you have certain judgments that you want to share. So whether that is on social media and you want to talk about certain things where you're like, this isn't right, the way the conversation has taken place around this topic, I want to make sure that we talk about this angle as well. And again, it's not coming from like a place of ego. I don't think that. I think it's coming more so a place of really feeling like, no, I have put in my time. I have put in my work. I have put in the legwork to really come from a place that is well informed, well intentioned. Yeah, very interesting. Let's get some energies on this. We have the first house. We have Leo energy, absolutely. And then we have Pluto. So yes, this is, I said that earlier from that song, Glow Up is Loading, right? Especially with the first house. The first house is the house of self. It is the house of your physical appearance, but also how you present yourself. And so with Leo energy, very fiery, despite the fact that this says mild. And that's why we have the star, like I'm telling you, that's why I feel like this is not coming from an egoic place, because you have so much fiery energy, but you also have like this very sweet and humble energy that comes along with it, which is something that people connect with, right? These are the bookends of this reading right here, and they are very engaged. Like, I feel like you want to support people, and that's why people are drawn to you, because you're you're upstanding. You're an upstanding citizen is the way that I just heard it. But there is something about you having had to put in a lot of groundwork when you were planting these seeds, so that you could show up in a way that is very confident. So this is a glow up of sorts when it comes to how do I show up and how do I let others celebrate me. We have Pluto here, meaning that there is a deep transformation when it comes to things around power and control, and also finances. Deep transformation of opening yourself up to wealth in some way, because you have done so much of the legwork already. You have been running yourself wild. You have been running around. And if you haven't been physically running around, then you've just been thinking so much. Even though these are wands and not swords, this is still very proactive planning, right? Because if these were all swords, you might catch yourself in a loop where you're just strategizing, but you're never taking action. The fact that we have wands, this is very calculated action that you have been taking bit by bit, and it's growing into you getting what you deserve because of the work that you have put in on the back end. Woo, I'm excited for you. Let's get some oracle cards. We're going to get an archetype card. This is going to be an aspect that Spirit wants you to embrace in order to allow your harvest to come in more as effortless as possible, right? We want to make it a smooth harvest. So what is an energy and aspect for group 2 to embrace to make this a smooth harvest, an easy harvest? We have networker. I'm telling you, there are some kind of connections that you will be making, whether it is through social media or through getting a new job. If you have, I'm telling you, this group, definitely there's going to be some entrepreneurs in here. So you have your own business. This is about finding other businesses that are like you, right? That are like-minded, that maybe you don't have the same product, but you have similar brands, you have similar clients, but you just have different brands or different products, but they could work well next to each other, kind of like at like a vendor booth. It's like, oh, you would find the candles next to the essential oils, right? Because it's like they kind of go together. You can work with them interchangeably, but they're not the same product, so you're not direct competition. So if you have your own business, I see you connecting with people a lot more throughout this fall. People where it's like you can also commiserate with them of like the exhaustion of all of the work that you have to do. Because look, I still see you being very busy and very engaged, right? Lots of orders coming in. And I don't know if you've been watching my readings like on Instagram and stuff, but this card has come out for the 3rd time within the past week and a half, I would say. This is the 3rd time this card has come out in my general readings, and before that, I have had this deck for like over a year. I have never seen this card before, and now it keeps coming out. And that is happening for a reason. So the energy that you want to embrace is make sense of the resources available to you at all times. Those resources grow exponentially if you take care of your relations to those resources, right? Because there is something that you may not have access to, but if you are in good relationship with a person that has access to it, then you have access to it, right? And that's not to make relationships or friendships transactional, but it is to focus on the community of what it is that you're engaging in, to become part of the community, because it's not just about what can you get from people, but also how can you support and show up within that community as well. And that there's a lot to gain for you to really show up as engaged as you are in the process of you developing yourself. Once you show up in community with that same vigor and that same energy, it really just expands in an exponential way. This is so cool. The readings today, this is the second one, right? The readings today are very much not what I expected them to be, but I am loving it, of course. We're gonna take a look at a blind spot or shadow aspect, something to be aware of as we move through this energy, something to be aware of. Ooh, interesting. Okay, this is kind of like a fair warning. This card wanted to come out as well. We have inner integration. There is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming, tempering effect life has on us. This is also somehow telling me to point out the different ages of this person on the same card is asking you to take into account when it comes to these peers. I don't know why, but somehow there's something about age, and there might be age differences, but that doesn't mean that you cannot connect with people authentically. Don't dismiss people that are like too young or too old. There's still a lot for you to gain from those relationships. That feels kind of like a sideline mention, but this card says trusting tricksters. The trickster's only power is your trust. You are always free to withdraw it. I think you probably have some, I mean, don't we all? But I do think from this energy that I'm picking up, I do think that you have some experience with trusting other people with your energy too much in the past, and you've kind of taken it back and are able to direct it in very different ways now. But this is also a warning to pay attention to who you're connecting to, right? So all of what I've talked about doesn't mean, oh, just connect to whoever. Again, we're not trying to build a community that is transactional, right? It's not about like, oh, how can you serve me and how can I like pay you back for serving me? It's not about that. It's about a lot more of providing support to one another so that everyone can really bloom, so that everyone can bloom. That's what's coming up, especially with these three women. And so we do want to be selective and smart about who we engage with and how. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, we're going to pull just 3 tarot cards to get a more direct answer on what are the blessings that are coming in for you with this harvest. You've put in a lot of work, so this to me indicates, ooh, look at that. We have the Queen of Swords underneath the Seven of Pentacles. That Queen of Swords, it's giving me this vibe of you've invested a lot of belief, and as I say that, I have the High Priestess down here. This is, you were following a lot of desires, and those desires were based on you having to upfront a lot of trust. And once your harvest comes in, it's like, okay, see, I knew it. It's like I knew I trusted myself for good reason. So I do love that. Okay, for group 2, what are some of the blessings? What blessings are coming in for group 2? I'm gonna get 3 cards. What was that? We have the 5 of Pentacles. Look at that. Are you kidding me? The 10 of Pentacles? Look at that jump. Okay, let's get the last one for context. Wow. This is incredible. We have the Eight of Swords. So, and then we have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck. See, now this sword situation is what I was talking about with you've been running off of desire. And if it would have been too much analytical energy, you would have held yourself back and not acted on it. But you've been acting on a lot of belief and desire. And so the blessings that are coming in for you, to me, the way that this, I know these cards look kind of rough, but look at literally the most positive material card in the deck, right smack in the middle, which to me tells me this is kind of like a sandwich, right? To me, it tells me that the blessings that are coming in for you have to do with recognizing your own power and recognizing where you have held yourself back and being able to recognize that, right? Being able to recognize where you have been holding yourself back is all that you need to make that switch, to turn that 5 into this 10 of Pentacles. And also this 5 of Pentacles is of course this idea of lack mentality. It's this idea of not having anyone to rely on. This 8 of Swords is very much about feeling also left out in the cold, but this time it has a lot to do with choosing our own misery at sometimes. This is being able to see the full spectrum and being able to see the goal. You're seeing the beginnings and you're seeing the goal. And because you're seeing it all, it's like, oh, I know the map. It's like getting the map of, hey, these are your pitfalls, avoid. I'm literally seeing like, you know, like in Pirates movies, the old map where it's like an island and then there's like a skull over here, like do not go there. This is like awful. That you're discovering this map of things where it's like, okay, these are the things that trigger me. These are like my pitfalls. This is when my ego acts up. Like, okay, but this is where I self-sabotage, and over here is X marks the spot. That is where I can find this material fulfillment and this material stability that I'm seeking. So now that I know the lay of the land, all I have to do is follow the map. So yeah, this feels like you're getting a treasure map. Quite literally. With this 10 of Pentacles? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's get some more. Some more oracle cards. What are some blessings? Ooh, follow it. This is exactly what I was just saying. Like once you have the map, once you have the layout of the land, you're not just gonna sit there and be like, wow, this map that I just found somehow exactly tells me the entire layout of this island. Are you gonna sit on the beach? No, you're gonna follow it. Follow it. This is so cool. And then we have adapt at the bottom of the deck. Adapt does indicate that there is going to be a change. I think that you are going from being very self-reliant to becoming an active participant within a group or a community. And again, I think it's really just going to highlight and expand what is possible for you. And so there are certain aspects of your life where previously you thought you were going to go through them alone. You thought that you didn't have anyone that you could depend on, and maybe that was true at the time, but that is changing. That is changing. You're entering into a support system. You're entering into a support system. But again, you did a lot of work on your own, a lot of solitary work. And that's going to be really beneficial moving forward because you're going to have some sort of knowledge or wisdom or insight with this inner integration card that we saw that is really going to be able to help you fit into a place where it's really like a driving, you become part of a driving force. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we had pulled a card from that other deck. All right, I kind of, sorry, I'm really just confused because I feel like I got through the oracle cards a lot faster than in the last reading. But in the last reading, I also just went on a huge tangent for that first deck, or the first, just ignore me. We're gonna get one last oracle card for you, group 2. Overall, I want to say that your the harvest for you this fall, it has a lot to do with a lot of the groundwork that you have been laying, a lot of the desires that you have been following for very good reason, and you were very, very focused. And that is going to be paying off in a way where you have probably created a lot of backup plans and a lot of plans of like, oh, and if this doesn't work, I need to do this and I need to do that. But it's like you have more plans than you have time. And I feel like I do see you eventually handing off ideas and plans, and not in a way where you're not getting recognition for them, but it's just you're able to really, especially because we got that inner integration card, you're really able to plug into some kind of position, some kind of organization, some kind of group. You're really just going to be able to plug in and be like, oh yeah, I've thought of this thing a while back ago, you should try this. And you're just going to become such a supportive part, and it's really going to elevate a lot for not just you, but other people as well. And it's going to make you happy. I was just looking over here again. Makes me happy. It's going to make you really... See, that's the thing. I have been seeing this, and I keep saying, like, the energy that you have doesn't come... The drive that you have doesn't come from an egoic place, which means that what drives you the most is not to make a ton of money and to be in an ivory tower somewhere far away from everyone else. You want to be a part of a community. You want to be an integral part of something that feels meaningful and connected, right? And these are the fears that we have, is that we won't feel connected. But what you really want to do is be part of an empire, like be part of a startup, be part of a community. You want to be an integral part of something that is bigger than just you. And so that has a lot to do with wanting to connect with others. And that's what I see with the Star card and the Temperance. That's why your energy is very like, I had said in the beginning, right? Teacher's pet. There is this energy of really wanting to connect. And up until now, your drive just had you so focused that maybe, you weren't able to have the attention to truly connect in, or it was just wrong place, wrong time. But in any case, I do see something coming into your life that's just you're just going to click into it. You're like a puzzle piece, click, and it brings a lot of abundance with it. And it's abundance that is going to be material, but that's not what matters to you. It's more so the stability of being able to be part of something that is that powerful. That's what matters to you. That's really cool. Let's get one last oracle card for group 2. We have Lorelei. There she is. If you have watched some of my readings, you may know Lorelei is one of our collective. She is our girl. Lorelei comes out so often for my collective. And I love it because she is a beautiful reminder of our power. Okay, let me show you. I think she's a beautiful reminder of our power, but also specifically if you identify as someone with more feminine energy, I think a lot of times when we talk about feminine energy becoming more powerful, you have like two choices. It's like, well, do you want to be a boss bitch or do you want to be like a siren? And well, Lorelai is sort of a siren, but look at how youthful she is. Like um she's very childlike, right? This is just a child. And I think there's something to say about girlhood and how you can be a girl's girl and still be a boss, right? You don't have to choose. Oof, I love that. Okay, that just had to come out. But let's talk about Lorelai. It says power, responsibility, fate, and grace. A mermaid sits on a rock and gazes toward the ocean. A small ship floats nearby, connected with her through a rope. She has the power to decide the destiny of this ship and the fate of the crew. With a flick of her wrist, she could toss the ship against the shore, or she could let it continue its journey. What will the mermaid decide to do? She has suffered great loss in her own life. Will she continue the cycle of pain, or will she allow healing and grace to calm the waters? Excuse me. Lorelai. I love her. That's our girl. That's our girl right there. But yeah, overall, Lorelai is just a reminder of your power, and again, a reminder of the line that we have and the responsibility that we have when we connect with a community. But also, this is a big reminder, quite literally big reminder that you bring an incredible wealth along with you to any community that you enter. An incredible wealth of wisdom, passion, and power. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really hope that this resonated. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can do so on my website. It is linked below. I've really allowed myself today in these pick a card readings to kind of go as intricate as I enjoy going. I know sometimes I will say that sometimes I feel the need to keep things more general or keep things a little bit lighter. But in today's reading, I really went in the same fashion as I handle my personal readings. So if you enjoyed this, I would definitely recommend a personal reading because trust me, I get into it. I get lost in these cards and I love it. It's always a good ride for me. It's always interesting and fascinating. It's like trying to decode a mystery, right? So yes, if you would like to book a personal reading, you can do so on my website, linked below. I would love to read for you sometime. And other than that, I hope I get to read for you again sometime through a pick a card. Take care. Hi group 3, this is your reading if you chose the lovely sapphire ring and the turquoise colors. We're going to set these off to the side so you know you're in the right place, and then let's take a look at your sauce. Well, let's go this way. Oh my goodness. This is your ring. Focus, focus, focus. You can do it. You can do it. There she goes. Gorgeous. We're going to set that off to the side, and here's your sauce. Surprise! You got a Diablo. And it says, oh, the anticipation. All right, we are taking a look at what are you harvesting this fall. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to pull 2 rows, and the bottom row is going to be the seeds that you planted. The top row is going to be the harvest, the crop from your seeds, right? So for group 3, what is group 3 harvesting this fall? These readings have been very, very intricate, very interesting. Just as interesting as the star coming out in reverse. I do feel like there's some interconnectedness between these readings, because in reading 1, there was a card that came out in reverse that then came out upright in reading 2, and then now we have a card that came out upright and it came out in reverse in reading 3. Feels like there might be at least one person that these readings are very interconnected for them. But anyways, I'm going to pull out all the cards first, and then I'll start analyzing away. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Judgment card. Okay, I don't know if you saw, but he did a little spin and came out upright. I like that. Let's take a look. What is up with this star in reverse, huh? We have the Strength card. Are you picking at scabs? What? I don't know why that came through. We have the Ace of Wands coming out with the Hermit card. We have the Nine of Pentacles coming out underneath the Judgment card. And then give me one more for the Emperor. What was the seed here? And then we have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. I feel like you have been very much at odds with yourself. I think that you have done a lot of reflection with this Hermit card and the Five of Wands. It's almost like the seeds that you have planted have a lot to do with you being in conflict with yourself over what do I want or what do I need. I'm not mad at it though, because it does feel like it's coming from a constructive place, meaning it has a lot to do with self-analysis. But I think you may have put yourself in a place where you kind of convinced yourself of something. This is giving fake it till you make it. Yeah. This is very much because there is this feeling of insecurity here, but then we have the Strength card as the seed. Which indicates to me that I think it's really interesting that the Star card is coming out in reverse. I wonder if that has to do with, because I did say, is somebody picking at their scabs? I wonder if, oh, okay. The idea of picking at a scab is like, there's a certain fascination, right? Even as kids, you know, you scraped your knee, and then especially like the big chunky scabs, it's like there's this fascination of like, what is happening here? My body is doing something differently. And there's this desire to like dig in to see what's going on under the hood, right? And what I'm getting here is that you actually discovered that there is something about you that is unhealed and you discovered that you could use it to your advantage. Like there's some kind of strength, some kind of power that lies within the rejection of letting the wound heal. There's some kind of power. You were like, no, I'm not just going to ignore. But again, there was this fake it till you make it, because you still experience the pain, right? It's an open wound. It still hurts. But there was this desire of like, I'm not going to be, ooh. You decided you were not going to be victimized. Holy crap. This is a lot deeper than I expected. You decided, I'm not going to be victimized, and I am going to decide when it hurts and how it hurts. And then when it does hurt, I'm going to explore how much you really were taking something to the limit. Now, that doesn't have to be physical pain, right? That can be physical pain, but it can also be emotional pain. And I also think it's interesting that this is, all of this energy is very, very focused on you, very self-aware and very focused on you, meaning that you weren't necessarily digging to cast blame, but you were, that again, you were refusing to be victimized by anyone else, and you were refusing to give anyone else that power over you. And so therefore you told yourself, well, if I refuse to give that power to anyone else, then that means I created this situation. That means I am asking for whatever emotional disturbance the situation has caused, or situation or pattern. It doesn't have to be one particular thing. It can just be the way that you respond to emotional outfall. And it doesn't even have to be emotional. It can be really any kind of like situation. But there is this desire to not give anyone else the satisfaction of having had control over you. You're very intense. I mean, Diablo, right? But oh, the anticipation. It's interesting because perhaps this has been a long road for you, and maybe this is like a new thing for you, that you're like, no, I'm not giving my power away to anyone, even if it is an expression of pain, right? But there's this strong determination here, strong determination with this element of self-reliance. And then there is this energy of like, I dare you, judge me. I dare you to judge me, because I am ready. I am dressed to the nines. I am polished. All of my awards behind me are polished. I dare you to judge me. You have very defiant energy. Again, Diablo. You have very defiant energy. So defiant. And then with this Emperor, I mean, maybe it is that defiance that really helps you feel really empowered, because it's, this is something that came through somewhere else recently. Don't remember where, but in one of my videos on Instagram or TikTok, where it's like, you're getting to a point of not feeling intimidated by anyone, because it's like, what are you gonna do? Hurt my feelings? I can do that better than anyone else. I can destroy my own dreams better than anyone else. So what are you gonna do? I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of your judgment. You leveled up. Your harvest is that you are freeing yourself. You're also freeing, this is so powerful. Honestly, the longer I'm looking at this, the more I'm like, holy shit. Because this star in reverse is also a refusal to be seen as something that is pure. You are not afraid of your dark side. You are not afraid of the mess within you. Because it's like, that is what brought me here. Again, that's that pride in some kind of scar or some kind of wound of like, no, I'm not going to cry because you hurt me. I'm going to be like, ooh, look at my superpower. I'm healing this all on my own. And it's not like, ooh, look, you hurt me, but more so, ooh, I put myself in a situation where I let you hurt me. I'm not going to do that again. Like, you're very self-contained. You're very much like, no, you have no influence on me. I created this. Oof. My goodness. Okay. You're making me blush a little bit because this is honestly energy where I'm like, can I get a slice of that? I can identify to a degree, but not to the degree that you're showing up as, because to be quite honest, I have a Libra Mars, so I'm a people pleaser. And you are like, I am done with that. I don't know that you ever did that. I'm sure you did, which is probably what caused certain wounds. But I am living for this star card in reverse, because it really just feels like this refusal. It's like this refusal of, I don't want to be your pretty thing on a pedestal. I am a powerful being. I'm not sitting on a pedestal, I'm sitting on a throne, because I am the one in control. And I will not have you glorify me into a position where I have no power. I'm not going to let you paint me as an angel, because I will rip you to shreds if I have to, because trust me, I know how to rip someone to shreds, and best of all, I know how to rip myself to shreds. So you cannot intimidate me, because anything that you can point out about me is something that I have already addressed. Holy shit. Sorry. This is very intense energy, very intense. Even in this imagery, the way that this hand is really like white knuckling this wand is intense. And it's out of spite. You have this desire to really find your own pain points, because it's like, no, I need to know, what are my vulnerabilities? What are my vulnerabilities? Because I can't let them go undetected, because that makes it even more of a vulnerability, because somebody else might discover it before I discover it. You are like a walking alarm system. Again, Diavolo. Oh, the anticipation is also now making me think of, oh, the anticipation. You're like, I wish somebody would try me. I'm ready. You're very defensive. I'm living for it though, because I don't think that you just woke up one day and you became defensive. There's obviously reasons that you are who you are. But the anticipation is definitely connecting to like, just try me. I have been training, just try me. And that's the thing too, because you have been hardening yourself to a certain degree. And when you harden yourself in that way, you are desiring some kind of test. You do want to exercise your power. So that's something that I would be aware of, to make sure that you're not purposely calling in confrontational energy just because you are looking for something to be able to match your energy. That is just something to be aware of. And here's the thing too, I do find your energy incredibly impressive, and I think it's really impressive that there seems to be this refusal of delicacy. Yeah, this refusal of being seen as delicate. And I just want to point out, you don't have to take this, but I just want to point out that one of my major life lessons has been to recognize that strength and sensitivity are not mutually exclusive. You can be sensitive and you can be incredibly empathetic and still be incredibly strong, right? Those don't mutually exclude one another. So that's just something for you to consider, but let's get some more energies. But you are incredibly impressive, and with this Page of Swords, I do think that you are learning, like part of your harvest has to do with you really leveling up in a way where I think you're preparing yourself to show off in some way. Like this girl is fencing. Like there's something where I think you're going to have an opportunity to really shine. Let me take a peek underneath. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I was picking up on. The Six of Wands. Like you're really going to have an opportunity to shine. And something that I just want to point out is that your energy is incredibly impressive. You really don't have to do much. You just got to show up. You just got to show up and react to whatever the situation is, and people will be impressed. But you're very defensive because you think everyone is out to get you. And again, that's probably from a past that really made you harden to that kind of environment. But I want you to be able to be in a place to enjoy being celebrated and not just looking for challenges. Because I do feel like you have a very competitive energy with these awards, the Emperor, the Five of Wands. You have a very competitive energy, which also means that I think you, specifically for someone here, I think that this has a lot to do with kind of either physical or academic accomplishment. So you put in a lot of very difficult, hard work to specifically be placed in a situation where you are being judged. And you are overcoming that. And because again, you are showing up like so ready for the challenge. Yeah, definitely for some of you, this has to do with some form of actual literal competition. Like you are going to be part of some competition, and you, if that is the case, I'm here to tell you that you are absolutely prepared and you will be celebrated. That is part of what's coming in for you. And you probably had to overcome some kind of, you probably had to overcompensate for some kind of handicap, whether that was, you know, in a metaphorical sense or in a literal sense. But there's some kind of handicap that you had to overcompensate for, and because of that, you're like extra like defiant and being like, no, I'm not going to let whatever this is or was, I'm not going to be defined by that. I'm going to be defined by my ability to show up. And because of that, you have put yourself through the ringer in a way that other people showing up to that same kind of level of competition have not. So you do find your strength in whatever handicap it is that you're overcoming. But that took a lot of soul searching. That took a lot of, there probably was a time where you're like, I can't do this, and probably felt very victimized because of that. And you absolutely reject that storyline now, which is good for you. Let's get some energies on this. Bam. Yes, you are here for the medals. You want all the awards. We have the second house. We have Sagittarius energy and we have Uranus. Wow, you are striving. Okay, the second house is a material house, but it also has to do with our values. And that's the thing. You don't care about the judgment of others anymore, but that's the harvest, right? It's because you put in so much work in being able to satisfy yourself that now the judgment of others, that's just a byproduct. And so your values, you have refocused your values on like, no, I don't care what other people think. I care what I think. But you are still striving. And it's almost like this idea of, here's a metaphor. It doesn't have to apply the way it comes out, right? But that's just something to contextualize this energy. Imagine growing up, you didn't have a lot of money, you weren't able to afford name brand clothing or accessories, anything like that. And perhaps, especially growing up within the last couple decades, there would have been a lot of judgment around that, right? Your peers in school, you know, especially school, our brains are not fully developed, but we're thrown into social situations where a hierarchy has to be established. It's just human beings do that. So for some reason or another, you got picked on because you didn't have the right brands, you didn't have the right look, you didn't have the right whatever, you didn't have the right whatever. That then forced you to develop a personality, which is a good thing, right? But it also hardened you because you recognized that you were being judged for something that was out of your control. And so then growing up, you refuse when people judge you, and you understand the stigma of people judging you for something that you have or don't have. Now, as you grow older and you become more of everything, more of you, more of adult, you get your own funds, you get to decide what to spend your money on. Maybe you get to a place where you thought you desired those brands, and you get to a place where you can comfortably, sorry, I'm looking for a word. I don't know why they want me specifically to use that word. It's almost like adorn yourself, where you can comfortably adorn yourself with these things that you were lacking in the past. But then once you get them, you realize, oh, right, that's actually not what I was seeking. I was seeking validation from my peers, right? That's what was lacking. It wasn't the fact that I needed a Coach bag. It was that I wanted the approval that a Coach bag would have gotten me back in the day. And so there's this recognition of like, oh, it's not actually the shiny thing that I want. And so because of that, when people then, again, you've made it to a place where you can, you know, dress yourself in all the brands, and people may start to give you compliments, be like, oh my God, like you always wear the nicest stuff. And it's like, it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything for you because you're like, what other people think doesn't matter. And I recognize now that I should just buy the stuff that I am drawn to because I think it's nice for me, right? And so that's what this energy is we're striving to a better understanding of our own values and how to rectify, how to move forward in a way that is more authentic when it comes to our own values. Which this is super grounded. It's super grounded, but it's grounded from a deep, deep place of a deep wound. So it's like you went down, 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 up. Now you're growing upwards, but because of that, you're so grounded. Your roots go so deep that nobody else can shake you. So in terms of what you're harvesting this fall, you have spent the summer, if not way longer, because I feel like all these readings have been like just very zoomed out. It's not necessarily just about this fall, but you have spent a significant period of time of focusing solely on your own judgment. And that's going to put you in a place to really be prepared to show up in some kind of competition or challenge, and really being self-aware and knowing what you provide and what you can bring to the table. Okay, my goodness, I keep getting lost in these readings. Are you serious? Oh my God, I just looked up and I saw how long I've been talking. That is not what I meant to do. I got really into that. Okay. All right, let's get through these oracle cards. Okay, so we are going to take a look now at, we're going to get one archetype card, and this one is going to be an aspect that Spirit would like for you to embrace in order to receive your harvest in a more smooth way. Like how can you show up to make this easier for yourself, essentially? Girl, I am using so many words today. I am a chatty one today. Let's get one archetype aspect on how to show up to. We have guide. Interesting. So the light attribute says represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself, and the shadow attribute says places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. So that's exactly what we're talking about, right? You went within to find your internal values, to place them above the external values that were presented to you, because you recognize like placing financial gain or placing certain social status above what you actually valued didn't make sense. So why should I try to fit into a rat race that I think is stupid? That's exactly it. You're following this internal wisdom on your own values, right? The hermit is the elder that walks with the lantern, and we have the lantern and the wise old owl here along with this guide. So in order to move through this energy more efficiently, Spirit is saying like, yes, you are following your intuition with this Sagittarius energy as well. You are following your intuition. And I don't know why you're here, to be honest. I'm like, what can I even provide? Because you seem so determined. You're so determined. So the only thing where I feel like you're not quite aware of it yet is the fact that you are calling in a lot of success and a lot of attention. But even that, it's kind of like you're like, well, I don't need that. I already know that I already know what I'm worth. So I'm like, damn, what can I provide you? How can I be of assistance here? But also sometimes we need to just see a reflection of our own strength in order to actually fully harness it. So maybe there's something here for you. Let's take a look at perhaps any blind spots. There we go. We have forgiveness. Yes, see, that is kind of what I was talking about earlier a little bit. Hurt blocks our light. That there is something where you're like refusing to be victimized, and you're also refusing to let something heal because you recognize that you can transmute that pain into drive, into motivation. It's almost like becoming super successful out of spite, which is a great, like, energy to get you going, but at some point you don't need that anymore. You don't need this confrontational energy, and all you're doing is holding on to some kind of negativity that really should have cleansed out already. So I am very proud of you, and I am very impressed by your energy, but I said earlier too, there's something that is a little bit hardened about you, right? And true power also includes knowing when to soften. And that is something that I think we do need to bring to your attention just in general. That choosing in a safe environment to be vulnerable and sensitive and soft is not a sign of weakness. And specifically, there is something that you have overcome that was part of your journey towards complete autonomy that was necessary. It was some kind of catalyst, and you didn't let it heal for a long time because that catalyst was so motivating to you. But at the same time, you are getting to a point of recognition and celebration where that could be a blind spot that really kind of catches you at a time where you should be your happiest, and then all of a sudden you are reminded of that wound that you have not let heal, and then you're in the midst of, this should be the happiest time ever, but all I can think of is that wound that I still haven't healed. That's something to be aware of. And that doesn't make you any less powerful or any less impressive. Oof. Okay, see, okay, now I'm back. Now I'm like, okay, I know why I'm here. I know why we're talking, because I could provide you that perspective. Before it was like, you don't even need me. Okay. I am going to get 3 tarot cards on what exactly these blessings that are coming your way. What are some blessings coming your way for group 3? Blessings for group 3. We have the 8 of Cups. I like that because I think that kind of connects to what we were just talking about, where it's like we're actually truly healing something. We're walking away from something fully, instead of keeping it in. Like, imagine there being something that was so hurtful, so painful, and it was poisonous. Like, again, this is just a metaphor, but imagining like your best friend giving you a poisonous apple. I don't know where this is coming from. You bite into the apple, you recognize, oh my God, there's poison in this. And then immediately you go into this overdrive of like, I refuse to let this poison kill me, so I'm just going to trap it in my body. And now there's this chunk of poisoned apple in your body somewhere where through some kind of incredible, super magic way, you've been able to encapsulate it, but it lives in your body, right? This is a process. What truly your blessing would be is that you spit out that apple, even if it's been years, even if it's been decades. Getting to a place to actually spit it out and leave that behind, instead of putting all this energy constantly into your body to keep that piece of apple right where it is. I hope that that makes sense. Justice. Love to see it. Getting your fair share of justice. And look at, we have the Death card. Okay. The blessings coming in for you. You're leaving something behind that has been emotionally draining. You're bringing more balance. There will be more balance brought. It's not you bringing, it's more balance brought into the way that you know your worth. There's more recognition of your worth around you coming in. And then with this Death card, I do feel like we are entering into a new stage of, you know what? Of what? You're entering into a new stage. Tell me about this Death card. I think that is like the apple coming out, because it's like there was something that we were refusing to heal and we're letting it die. Like there's something that we're not just walking away from it, but we're also letting it die, which then allows it to heal. But let's see. Let me get one more card for this Death card. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. 10 of Pentacles. Are you kidding me? Don't run yourself into the ground though, please. I don't know. This also gives me this vibe of like running, what is it? The midnight oil. But this 10 of Pentacles, and that's why I was focused on that sun in the background, where I'm like, we're headed towards a new era, and this era is going to be full of recognition and support. But we're leaving something. I know that we're leaving this pain behind, but I'm still feeling like there's something else that we're leaving behind with this Death card. So let me just, this has been so long. I'm sorry for anyone who feels like it's too long, but honestly, personally, I love a long reading. Tell me about this Death card. What is this Death card leaving behind? We have the Fool. I don't know why I'm struggling with this right now. Because yeah, I mean, it makes sense. There's a maturing that's happening, right? We've been talking about leveling up. We've been talking about glow up. There is a maturing that is taking place. We're going from a more immature energy to a very mature and established energy. But I still feel like there's something that this Death card isn't telling me. I don't know why. There's something that this card isn't telling me. I just picked up the deck randomly and we got the Ace of Pentacles, which I like to pick up the deck randomly just to, just cutting the deck to get like a little hint with this Ace of Pentacles. It feels like there is definitely an aspect that this card isn't telling me. There's something in the shadows. There's something in the shadows. Like even when I look at the sun, there's a shadow. The sun is behind some kind of landscape, so there's a shadow before the sun. There's something in the shadows. Sorry, I'm just really intrigued. I really would like to know what that is. So if you have any ideas, comment below, because I am kind of stumped. Like I feel like I'm looking at a blind spot. So when I look at cards, I see a lot of images. A lot of times I'm like barely even looking at the cards. I see things, I see energies, I see like, it's just a lot going on in my mind's eye. And when I'm looking at this Death card right now, it feels like it's blurry. Like it just feels like there's something that I can't see and I'm not, and it's bugging me. But I'm not sure what it is. We have to keep in mind that it's a blessing. It's a blessing that you're transitioning from you're transitioning into a more established energy. But it does require some kind of sacrifice. I think that might be it. It requires some kind of sacrifice. Which is on top of, that's what I was saying, right? There's some kind of emotional thing that you're letting go. You're spitting out the poisonous apple, but then there's still some kind of sacrifice. But I'm also kind of worried that you already sacrificed too much of your own like sensitivity, that you're very hardened. I'm sorry, I'm just really hypnotized by that right now. It's driving me nuts. I don't like not having an answer. What is a sacrifice? I'm hearing toll. It's like paying a toll to pass. That was the Seven of Swords, but it didn't come out fully. What is a sacrifice? The Eight of Swords. My goodness. Okay, I feel like, I'm sorry, this is getting so long, but I do feel like there is something that is very blurry to me because there's some kind of sacrifice with the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords both trying to come out but not fully coming out. There's something that you are actually not fully honest with yourself, and that is coming to an end. And you're so much, I said that in the beginning, there's this big energy of fake it till you make it. There's something where you are so convincing that you've convinced me. So I don't even know what it is. I can't, there is some kind of vulnerable spot aside from the handicap that we talked about overcoming. There's some kind of vulnerability, and it probably has to do with fear of not getting your fair share, of not getting your justice. But there's some kind of vulnerability that you are so defensive over that I can't even see it, that I have been brushing over it. But the blessings that are coming in through this harvest are going to allow you to transition away from that and feel more stable and not feel like there's a mark. Like the imagery that I'm seeing now is like when in like movies where there's like the red laser, when people are like there's like a shooter, like a sharpshooter. Sorry, images. Putting images into words is hard sometimes. You feel like there's constantly a mark on you. And because of that, you've overcompensated. And there's something that you are actually very insecure about, and you are faking it till you make it so well that I can't even tell you what that is. That I'm so impressed by your energy. I don't know what the heck you're insecure about. But it is there, but you are overcoming it. So that's good, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't know why you had to torture me like this, but what the heck? You really like hid something from me. I'm a little offended. No, I'm not. I'm just joking. But you really kind of hid something from me. And now I'm like, what was it? You hit energetically, there's something that is a very sore spot for you, and you're so good at overcompensating that I completely missed it, I think. Okay. Any last considerations, blessings coming in for group 3? Honestly, I'm a little miffed. I'm a little miffed. You made me look like a fool. You are keeping things from me. How dare you? Oof, this energy is really taking a lot out of me. You are very impressive, but this energy, I'm thirsty, I'm getting tired, my head's getting heavy. This took a lot out of me. We're getting there though. But I do find it incredibly fascinating. So if this resonates with you, know that I find your energy incredibly fascinating. So I do it for a reason, right? Especially now that this reading is so long. Jesus. Can we maybe get a card today? Okay. Any last blessings for group 3? There we go. Look at that, we got 2. Ooh, we have alchemy and seasons. So I love this. I love this because the blessing that is coming in for you has a lot to do with the recognition that something is done. Something, you don't ever have to feel like you're back in that time of your life anymore. Something is really closing out. And again, that is you spitting out that poisonous apple, and that's you becoming very honest and really getting to a point where you're comfortable with that insecurity, whatever it may be that you're hiding from me. That insecurity, you're really overcoming that, and you're maturing and becoming very stable in your own values and the attention and the prosperity that brings. See how I'm flowing again? That's what happens when I can read the energy. That was just rude. But along with that, we have alchemy. So you're incredibly powerful. You're an incredibly powerful manifester, but you're just really good at transmuting. And again, I feel like a lot of the transmuting that you've done came from a place of defiance. You're like, I refuse to be labeled. I refuse to be what you make me out to be. So a lot of defiance. But what do we do with defiance? Oh, you know what's coming through? That part of Lilo and Stitch, when Stitch is created to destroy a big city, right? And then he lands on an island. And there is this reflection where the other alien is saying, like, what must that feel like when you are so programmed to do one thing and then you land in this place where you cannot do that thing? And that's kind of coming through with, you are so defiant in creating a path for yourself and protecting yourself. But what happens when you get to a place where you're celebrated, right? Again, you want to make sure that you can actually open up to that and enjoy that, and not still feel like you have a mark, that red laser on you, and not feel like you cannot rest, right? What happens with an energy that is so incredibly defiant when it is inserted into a timeline where everything is working in your favor? How do we transmute the energy that helped you survive in the past? That it's an energy that you were able to weaponize, but you're going into a phase of your life where you don't need to weaponize your energy anymore. And that's going to feel different. And that's where you're going to have to alchemize. Of like, okay, I can be powerful and not be lethal. That's the way it's coming through. Okay, one last oracle card for group 3. We're going to read this one from the booklet. Queen Bee, not surprised. So powerful. Such a creator. Let's read this. That is a number 11. Queen Bee, strength, growth, and motherhood. See, and I'm telling you that I was getting, especially because we have the Emperor, which is like a very, ultimate masculine energy, right? But that doesn't mean that you have to be, that you have to identify as a man. I do see that there was like a refusal of some kind of delicate energy, and that's why I was talking about like this angelic, like refusing some kind of pedestal. That could very much have to do with refusing a pedestal of womanhood, of being like, oh, maybe that's what you felt your handicap was, of like, oh, I'm not being respected the same way in whatever profession or whatever arena that I'm trying to establish myself in because I'm a woman. And so you felt like you had to act a certain way. Very possible. But let me read you what this says. It says, Madam Queen Bee is big and strong, yet gentle and mothering. Her skirt is a flower tower, a home for bees that sustain our ecosystem. She gives strength, power, and life to her surroundings. She is Mother Nature. She is responsible for the tulips that send energy into the world and all that grows to know the beauty of each day. Her children are the children of earth. She nurtures us all. Oh my goodness. This is just making me think of like Mother Nature and how Mother Nature, I saw one of my mutuals on TikTok the other day posted a video where she said Mother Nature is as violent as she is beautiful. And that is a lot of this energy. It is so incredibly powerful and so defiant and so brutal. There's a lot of brutal energy here. But I'm here to remind you that there's so much beauty that is right alongside of it. You can be incredibly impactful and still be incredibly nurturing and supportive. You don't have to choose between one or the other. You contain multitudes. Okay? This was such an incredibly long reading. Thank you so much for hanging out if you're still here. I really hope it resonates. Leave me a comment. Let me know how it made you feel. I would love to know. If you would like to book a personal reading, I really just let myself talk today. This is honestly how most of my personal readings go to. I dive in and I dig around. It's what I do. So if you would like to book a personal reading, please do so on my website. Everything is linked below. And I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care.